grab your cup. I want to share 7 patterns with you that show up for people. And these patterns end up having people feel exhausted, resentful. It affects their health. Because they're exhausted, it affects their relationships. Because there could be resentment, it affects it blocks an authentic living experience, like authentically living yourself from who you are. Because if you're locked in these patterns, who you are doesn't get a chance to show up. You're just driven to be doing whichever patterns of these. So listen to these 7. You might hear more than one as like, yeah, that's me, okay? So the first one is somebody who's a caregiver, somebody who is always looking to be taking care of other people. Now, there's nothing wrong with that in and of itself, but when it's a locked-in pattern, then it's at the expense of yourself. It's something that you feel compelled to do. There's really a codependency there. If I'm not taking care of others, then I don't really know who I am. So that would be the first one. The second one is somebody who's an overachiever. That person has learned that the way that I get acknowledgement, the way that I get recognition, the way that I feel important is by achieving things. So it might be another degree, another certification, another award. I have to go and, be president of the board. I have to be captain of my tennis team. Always overachieving, because without that, there's a sense of I'm not important and I'm not worthy to really be loved if I don't have all these things to show. The flip side of that, interestingly, is the underachiever. And that's somebody who keeps themselves really small. They're very conscious of the people around them and making sure that the people around them feel bigger and better. So they keep themselves small. They maybe don't go after a degree that they would like to have or taking some sort of self-improvement, because the way that they think they're supposed to show up is smaller than those around them and as the support for those around them. So that's really the role they've taken on. I don't want my husband to be upset if I'm making more money than him. I don't want, whatever it is, siblings to feel like, oh, who do I think I am? Like that. So underachiever. The next one is somebody who's a rescuer or a protector. And again, it's not bad to come up with solutions for people, but if you're always the one who, I've got this, I figured it out, here's what you need to do, I'm gonna rescue you, oh, I have all these friends, they're always needing my help with everything, I always have to go and help this person, or come up with a solution for that person, or in my family, I'm doing that for my kids or my spouse. That's a person who's driven to be a rescuer or a protector, and they rescue everyone around them. So like, I gotta make sure that your life is going okay. I've gotta come up with the answers for you. But then there's resentment, and there could be resentment on both sides, because maybe that person doesn't want to be rescued. Maybe they were just talking about what they were dealing with, and then you jump in and you try to fix it, and now they're like annoyed, or you're resentful and exhausted from feeling like you always have to do that. Okay? The next one is somebody who's always the life of the party. Again, it's not bad to have fun and to be fun and to be a person who makes other people laugh. But when you're stuck in a pattern that way, it could be that there's no ability to allow any other emotions. Like, I don't want anybody else to be sad. I don't want to see that other people are struggling. So I'm going to always deflect and make a joke. When somebody's talking about something, or when somebody's trying to share and connect more intimately, we deflect and we make a joke. Or we're always trying to make people laugh. The only thing I'm comfortable with is laughter and seeing people happy. Anything else is not okay. Sometimes we've grown up in households where the parent was like that, and then we don't know what to do with our emotions. So being the life of the party, always making people laugh, is something that can show up and get you stuck in a way that other people don't really appreciate. The next one is being a yes person. This is a little bit different than the caregiver, and it's also different than the rescuer. The yes person is always saying yes. If there's a responsibility to take on, I'll handle it. They're the go-to person in the family. Everybody else calls them because they know it'll be handled by that person. So the yes person, even if they've promised themselves or they've promised people in their lives, I'm going to slow down, I'm going to be around more, I'm not going to take so much stuff on, yet the next time somebody asks them to do something, it's a yes, because the way that they feel that they have to be, the way that they've learned to show up in the world is to say yes. And it causes resentment and it causes exhaustion for that person in their relationships as well. So that was 6 of them. The last one that I want you to think about is somebody who, I'm going to call it like a hero worshiper, somebody who's always looking outside of themselves for the authority and for the answers. This is someone who's stuck in a pattern of, I don't know what's right for me. I don't know what to do next. Somebody else must know better. There's got to be always somebody else that knows the answer for how I'm supposed to handle this. There's a higher authority for everything. I don't have any authority in my life. I don't really know. And that person gets stuck in a pattern where they feel really disconnected from themselves because they're never looking for their own internal guidance. We all have an internal guidance and we all are our best authority for ourselves. But there are people who never really get that and they're stuck in that pattern. So those are 7 patterns that very commonly show up for people. I hope you were listening around, does this apply to me? Oh, I tend to do that a lot. Maybe there's more than one. There's a program starting this week called Set Yourself Free, where we're going to dig into these patterns and dismantle them so that you can have some freedom to be who you want to be in your life and not just an expression of this automatic drive to be a caregiver, to be a rescuer, to be an achiever, to make other people more happy, to feel disconnected from yourself. Set Yourself Free is a 12-week program where we're going to focus exactly on that, on these core issues and how they're showing up in your life, and teaching yourself and your nervous system how to be okay if you're not doing these patterns, so that you can actually create your life the way you want and not be automatically driven, right? Like an automatic drive to have to do it this way. So if you heard yourself in any of these, this is not as deeply intensive or comprehensive as my Return to You program. This is a much more affordable container and much more focused on just what I talked about, what your patterns are and how to calm down your nervous system. So if that speaks to you, if this feels like the summer where you'd like to break some patterns that have been really crushing you, really exhausting you, really annoying in your relationships or affecting your health, I invite you to put freedom in the comments so that we can connect, because we are starting this week, and it would be great if you could get in right at the get-go and use this time in this summer to set yourself free. So I'll be looking for those comments and making sure we get you the details, okay? It's time to set yourself free. Have a good day.